I joined Userlane in January 2019, and I was leaving a company where the culture wasn't ideal. And when I came, I wasn't really sure what to expect. It's a super young team. Everyone is highly motivated, roughly my age. I was 26 at the time, and everyone just seemed like a total overachiever. I got there, and day one or two, everyone was talking about how they had already woken up at 6 a.m., done yoga, done their meditation journal, and they were ready to take on the day. So when I first started, it was definitely I would say a rough transition, but you could understand that you needed to bring your A game. And especially for such a young team of professionals in Munich, I wasn't really sure what that would entail. But especially as soon as I jumped in, I think week two, they threw me into a messe, so like an international conference. And I had to try and sell Userlane week two in German to lots of like high rated professionals like Vorstände, that means like executives at like Porsche, Mercedes-Benz. So they definitely have a fail fast, learn fast culture. But I think what really set it apart was also the amount of support. You know, it wasn't really aggressive. It wasn't territorial. Everybody there had everybody else's success had everybody else's success in mind. So again, I joined the company in January 2019, and I think I was like the 40th employee overall. But when I joined, we had like 25 to 30. And right after I joined, the sales team really boomed. We kept getting more engineers. We've seen the marketing team go through a few shifts as our strategy has changed and people have come and gone. Additionally, the sales team now, I think we're almost about 25 people, which is really insane, crazy big. I think one of the most interesting aspects, though, was the opportunity to work remotely. It actually started with a colleague of ours. He is my team lead for our sales team, and he decided to move to Allgäu, which is another region outside of Munich. And when he went to give in his resignation, our CEO and our other co-founders said, "Hey, we value you so much. We'd rather keep you remotely than lose you as an employee." And so this was May 2019. So we were kind of ahead of the curve in terms of remote work, even before Corona struck. But what that meant is we had already established the trust and the responsibilities. We understood that we could work successfully as a team. And I think that really paved the way as everybody went to home office, even more so as we started recruiting internationally. We're building up our London office. We have people in Israel. We have 3 people working from Greece. We're trying very hard to get a Grecian island office open at the moment. But seeing everybody continue to work together in spite of the distances has been great. The team has always had a lot of trust in each other. There's really never been any micromanaging. Nobody double checks and kind of make sure that you're meeting deadlines, because we all trust and respect each other to know that we will. And I think that this internal motivation that seems to run through the entire culture, I don't know how they managed from the HR team, from the recruiting team, but that does seem to be a main part of the DNA of most people at the company. But as we expand remotely, there's just this great sense of pushing in the same direction. So I've seen that the culture has been shaped by this shared factor. And as we expand to more remote areas, people bring in different perspectives, people bring in different opinions and thoughts, but everyone at least is headed towards the same goal. And that's really been fascinating, especially as we bring in people who are developers from Poland, for example, or we have our new VP of product and a VP of marketing based in the UK. And I think our VP of marketing is French, but based in London. So we have a really fascinating melting pot. And the other really nice thing that tends to be the case at Userlane, everybody has a voice. Even when we have our team all hands meetings, there's about 90 of us now, and everybody still feels comfortable, even on day 2 or 3, to pipe up with advice or comments or even a stupid joke on a Friday morning. I've worked for, let's say, 5 different companies in Germany, and I've worked for a PR agency. I worked for a health insurance company, another tech startup. This is a software startup. I can't imagine that selling software would have been what I had dreamt for myself when I was 10 years old. I wanted to be an actress. This is not really close, although I guess that depends on your perspective. But the culture is really what shapes it. If you were to ask me why I really love my job every day, it's knowing that the colleagues that I work with are super motivated, they're energetic, they're positive. And again, we all are working towards making the customers happy and delivering a great service. That's not as easily tangible as maybe saving the rainforest or something like that. But this positivity and this culture, you can see how it also translates to our customers at the end of the day. And as a huge people person, I really value the fact that the team continues to come together, whether it's I'm in a customer call, something's going wrong, and I need an engineer in 30 seconds, and they jump into a call spontaneously. Maybe I'm having difficulties with a particular tech issue that I need somebody to brainstorm with me. Maybe it's just helping me move from one apartment to the next. You know, it's amazing to see see that continues to be an underlying part of why everybody works together so successfully. And I think it really comes out at the end in terms of the productivity and the success that we have. The investors are benefiting too. So we had a head of HR a few years ago. His name was Toby, and his main motto, I would say, is always assume that people are doing things with best intentions. That's maybe not the best advice if you're traveling alone in a scary country or something, but in terms of Userlane, most people understand that if they are asking for a favor or if they are really stuck with a problem, they will go above and beyond to help their colleagues because A, we tend to genuinely hire nice people, and B, everybody understands what exactly the end goal is. So I think that in terms of the cultural diversity that we have here, the red line that runs through is that everyone really goes above and beyond to assist each other. So if I have a colleague who is based in the Philippines, for example, and they have a question about their bug testing, and they write me at a weird hour and I happen to be up, I will still answer, because I understand that I need to help them do their job so that they can help me do my job. And it's this sort of reciprocity without expectation, because everybody kind of understands we all have a blank check. I will help you as much as you need, you will help me as much as I need. And that trust really enables us to work very, very well cross-culturally and also across these different boundaries and borders. In Munich, the startup scene is pretty small. People tend to hop between the same 5 companies. And so you really get an interesting impression of how different companies can shift and grow. You tend to hear horror stories about this company blew up. They hired 300 people overnight. Nobody knew who the new people were. And as Userlane has grown, we definitely had a very tight relationship with all of our colleagues. We had lots of nights where I'm looking because I can see the office from my apartment building. So you can understand how closely connected I feel to Userlane. But we used to have these late night burrito evenings. Again, I mentioned people have helped me move from one flat to the next. My birthday party last week, I think we had 20 Userlaners here. So there is always this nice tight group. And 2.5 years ago, as I started and we noticed that things were expanding rapidly, you start to get this fear that the culture is going to change or shift dramatically. They call it like elbow culture, which means like people are fighting for attention or for different leads in the sales team, or they're trying to profile themselves and make a career, which everything is good and fine. But at Userlane, I think that genuine helpfulness and that ability to help your neighbor, no matter what it means for you, that was really important to me that we would keep it, and I'm not in charge of hiring. I'm only one member of a larger team, but I have been consistently impressed at how the culture has maintained this level of kindness and intelligence as well. We have really great, smart, qualified people. So again, I've been here for 2.5 years now. I think I was like the 30th employee or so. And now I think we're close to 110, 115. If we can maintain this kind of energy and attitude that seems to come through the interview process, then I see great potential for us to continue networking internationally. I personally am responsible for international markets. I keep pushing for an American office. I can see my family more often. And I would be super curious to see what other personalities we could pull in if we were able to expand internationally in that way. For now, I think the overarching culture and the fact that we do enjoy spending a lot of time together, that tends to keep us glued together closely. But as we continue to expand strategically, especially getting different types of personalities, we're getting more C-levels, for example, more upper management, the culture is going to shift. But I do see that we are all still going into the same mentality. We care was one of Userlane's first values. And I think that's still true today. So we do have a big team building event going on, or at least planned for October, pandemic pending. The entire team is very excited because for a lot of us, it means it'll be the first time that we get to meet some of our international colleagues. When I joined in 2019, I think a month after I started, we already had a huge team building event and we had rented a cabin in the Alps. There were lots of trust building exercise and brainstorming about what the company values could be. And one, Americans have a reputation for being overly emotional. So I already knew that going into it. But two, it's the way I am as a person. But I remember being asked after having been there for maybe 6 weeks, what exactly does Userlane mean to you? And having already met so many amazing people who had already been so thoughtful and helpful, going on this event to the conference in Karlsruhe, 4 hours away, road tripping with these new colleagues. I had already felt so moved. I nearly had a tear in my eye talking about how important that culture was. having seen that that's been the same 2.5 years, I have no itch to start looking for another company or another job. I'm very happy where I am with the growth opportunities I'm given, with the support from my team. So it's really fascinating to see that that has not really changed. If anything, it's gotten better. And now the entire team is super excited about the possibility of this get together in October. We all plan on meeting at an event yet to be disclosed, but somewhere alpine, of course. And we'll be pulling in colleagues from Israel, from London, from Greece, from Poland. I believe that's our stretch right now. I don't know if our Filipino colleagues will be joining, but fingers crossed. And to be able just to share a glass of wine or even just a juice, talk to your colleagues, find out about where do they come from, what history do they have, what have they worked at in the past, what is their expectation of the company and the culture. A lot of that already comes through Slack and through Zoom calls and through some of the team building activities we've been having virtually. Even our Christmas party was amazing this year, which is hard to say for a Zoom event. But I think everyone's excited to really come together and see why exactly we're all so excited about this company we work for. Why Userlane, right?